Welcome back. This is attorney Patrick Silva, and if you're visiting this website, beatmydui.com, you have a DUI issue in the state of California. Today I'm going to discuss the interplay between the DMV issue and the court issue, and I'm going to particularly focus on the refusal problems. Many times when you get pulled over for DUI, the officer's giving you several instructions, and it's the instructions that are the problem. The officer might say you have the right to remain silent, but then in the next breath, he's talking about under California law, now that you've been arrested, you're required to give a sample of your blood or breath. And then before that, when he was giving you the field sobriety test, he says, hey, there's this breath test you could take. It's a preliminary. You have the right to refuse that. The officer has to tell you the preliminary you have the right to refuse, but after he arrests you, he has to tell you that you're required. So there is a definitely conflicting issues between the preliminary instruction and the evidentiary instruction. So let's go through this. You get arrested and they're saying, now that you've been arrested, you have to take a blood or breath sample. Here's the problem. If you refuse on a first-time DUI, there's going to be a hard suspension against your driving license for 1 year. There's no right to go get a restricted license, a to and from work license, any of that. However, in order for the DMV to take away your license, the officer has to do, let's say, 3 things. He has to inform you that under California law, you're required to give a sample of your blood or breath. And then he'll say, or you could refuse. Then he has to say, however, if you do refuse, you can lose your license for 1 year of suspension on a first-time DUI or 2 or 3 years of revocation on a second or third DUI. And then at that point, he has to ask you a second question. Will you take a blood test? He has to document it, and it's on a form called a DS-367 form. Then he has to ask you, will you take a breath test? So he has to, again, let's back up. He has to give you the choice of blood or breath. He has to inform you that if you refuse, you can lose your license for 1, 2, or 3 years. And then he has to ask you again, will you take a blood? Will you take a breath? You can fight this on the DMV side. I've won a lot of these. You have to call within 10 days. Call within 10 days of getting that ticket and request a DMV hearing. If you're in San Bernardino area, the SoCal region, it'll be 909-383-7413. Have your ticket in front of you. When they pick up the phone, say, I'd like to set up a DUI hearing, they're going to ask you about 10 questions: name, address, telephone, date of birth, driver's license number, the ticket number in the upper right, the agency that arrested you in the upper left, and whether you did blood, breath, or refusal. You tell them, they say, okay, when we get the paperwork, we'll call you back. So again, remember, you can fight a refusal. If you don't call within the 10 days and the officer marked you down as a refusal, you're going to lose your license for at least 1 year on a first, 2 or 3 years on a second or third. You can fight it. You're going to need a lawyer. Hopefully you're getting a DUI lawyer who understands this area law, and then you could fight it. Now, what happens if you lose it and let's say you have a very, very critical need for your drive? You're a Class A truck driver. Even if you lose, that's not the end all be all. You can appeal it to the administrative review at Sacramento DMV, or you can do a writ of mandamus to the Superior Court of California. Take it out of the DMV's hands and get it up to a judge. Of course, all that takes a lot of time, energy, and money. And if you're having a job where you need your license and they take it away on a refusal, there is a way to try and keep it. It's called a stay, which is a temporary, it's putting a pause on them taking away your license. Again, if you would like a free consultation, call 909-798-1500. Visit beatmydui.com. This is attorney Patrick Silva. Hopefully this has been informative, not too confusing, because there's a lot of confusion on these laws on the DMV and refusal issues. Have a great day. Bye.